Hey guys, I'm gonna need you to share this video with as many people as you can. This is a video about a test that is not common, that is basically a better determinant of your risk to diabetes or being pre-diabetic. It's better than the typical 8-hour glucose test that is done as our standard in our medical model. I don't know why this 2-hour test is not standard, but here it is. It is the 2-hour glucose insulin challenge, the 2-hour glucose insulin challenge. Now, this is not a video on the details of diabetes and glucose and everything like that because it gets very detailed. This is just the basics, and I want you guys to understand the importance of this test and why you need to be asking for it, why you need to be demanding for it. If you ask for it and your practitioner doesn't think it's necessary, you need to leave and find someone else, okay? Some practitioners have this as a standard. Some practitioners do this test, and they're usually functional medicine doctors. But if you are a person who's overweight, if you're gaining weight rapidly, if you have high cholesterol, inflammation, things like that, I'll go over some more indications of the need for this test. But if you're asking for this and your doctor will not give it to you or don't even know what it is or doesn't think it's valuable, you need to find a different doctor. Okay, so just the basics. Blood sugar or blood glucose, same thing. That's essentially the sugar that is found in your bloodstream, and that gets there by way of what we eat and drink, okay? Insulin is a hormone that our pancreas produces and secretes to manage the blood sugar or blood glucose levels. So its job, insulin's job, is to make sure your blood sugar or glucose doesn't get too high or too low. All right, so what is typically done when we are testing for, risk for diabetes and making sure that you don't eventually develop it? Standard of care is an 8-hour fasted glucose test. So your doctor will say, all right, we need to test your blood sugar or your blood glucose. I need you to fast for 8 hours. So you can't eat anything. Your last meal is 8 hours before this test, whether you do it in the morning or night, whatever. So they test you, and it's blood glucose, like blood sugar. They're not testing your insulin. They're only looking at blood sugar. So they say, okay, if it reaches, 110, 120, that's when they start to get concerned. That's when they categorize you as pre-diabetic. So then your doctor says, okay, we have, you're pre-diabetic, you're at a higher risk for diabetes. We need to start taking steps to reduce that risk. So make sure you exercise and clean up your diet and get some more fiber because we need to regulate your blood sugar. All right, what do most doctors recommend for managing your blood sugar? They say do whole grain. You need more fiber. So people then go buy boxes of food that say added fiber. Okay, they do Cheerios, they do whole wheat bread, whole grain products. Okay, that's wrong. That's a big issue in and of itself. So there's one issue. Two, they say, okay, you need to start exercising. Well, they don't necessarily tell you what kind of exercise is important. What's the one way you can manage your blood sugar and insulin levels, which is the most important part, is resistance training and high intensity interval training. It's very different when you jog for 20 minutes or jog for 2 hours at a time versus getting in some strategic lifting and high intensity interval training 2, 3, 4 times a week. There's a big difference between what those two kind of activities will do for your body and your biology. So you're pre-diabetic. They say, okay, we'll watch these things. We'll kind of implement these lifestyle changes. We'll see how it goes. So you get retested a couple months later. You're at 126. Oh, you now have diabetes. So you are now prescribed medication for the rest of your life. Okay, people are going undiagnosed, and people are missing their opportunity to decrease the risk and to eliminate the symptoms of diabetes because they're not managing and testing insulin. Insulin is the indicator of diabetes. Insulin resistance is what causes type 2 diabetes. Insulin, chronically elevated or depressed is what leads to inflammation, which leads to disease and heart disease and cholesterol and cancers and aging. So when people are only counting and measuring blood sugar, you can have normal blood sugar levels, but have insulin resistance or chronically elevated insulin levels. You can have normal blood sugar but have insulin resistance. This is why pre-diabetes goes undetected for a lot of people because they get these blood sugar tests and they're in normal ranges, yet their insulin could be through the roof. So if you get your insulin tested, okay, you get this 2-hour glucose insulin tolerance challenge done and your insulin levels are high, what do you need to be doing? First, you need to take the approach of diet. You need to get out all the processed foods, all the things that could raise your insulin levels, spike your blood sugar, sugars, sweeteners, processed foods. You need to get alcohol, red wine. It all needs to get out of your diet, okay? This is life or death. This is not about, oh, I enjoy cupcakes because it's a stress relief. No, this is about your quality of life. Do you want diabetes or not? So get all the crap out of your diet. You need to get on some sort of resistance training regimen 2-3 times a week. Okay, lift some weights, challenge yourself, hire a trainer, hire a professional if you need some help, you don't know what you're doing. Okay, that's what we're here for. You need to get in some interval training, some high intensity interval training. Again, hire a trainer if you don't know what to do. You need to work on decreasing your inflammation. That means getting all the crappy foods out of your diet. That'll happen if you get rid of most of the processed things and the sugars, but there are also some things like dairy, okay, certain grains, gluten. There are foods that people are sensitive to that they continue to eat, which causes systemic inflammation, okay, which can lead to insulin resistance and then diabetes. We've talked about this before. Managing your stress levels is super important as well. There's a lot of things you can do. You can meditate, you can exercise, you can, work on increasing your sleep quality, okay? A lot of things you can do there. Another really important thing is to get added fiber into your diet, and that's not done by Cheerios and things that is added. Like you look at boxes of food and it's such a marketing gimmick. It's like added fiber, if it's in a box, you shouldn't be eating it first of all. Get the fiber from plants. Regardless of your diet, everyone benefits from eating more plants. So get fibrous vegetables, eat a lot of color, get a lot of greens and reds and yellows and purples. More color, the better, okay? So getting more fiber from plants and vegetables, eliminating all the processed sugar and carbs, managing your stress levels is super important, getting all the inflammation as low as possible by way of reducing those food sensitivities that you have in your diet. And so again, super important, you guys, 2-hour glucose insulin tolerance challenge. Spread the word. This should be the standard. I don't know why it's not. If you are over the age of 45, if you have type 2 diabetes as a history in your family, if you tend to gain body fat around your abdomen, those are all reasons to get this test done as soon as possible. Thank you guys for listening. Let me know if you guys have any questions. Feel free to visit my website, thebarbellbombshell.com, for more information. See ya.